All right, big tulip tree. Matter of fact, two big tulip trees. And if you look carefully at the way these trees were pruned, you know, the cameras have a hard time focusing on that. We'll have a better look from the other side. Even this tree, like there's a reduction cut right there. And out there, there's another one. There's one up there somewhere. All these long horizontal limbs, I reduced them. How long ago was that, Frank?
I don't know, I'm horrible at that, but a long time ago.
Probably 10 years or 8 years, probably.
Was Ellen here? If you remember?
No chance. I don't think she was.
She's been here, well, it was 8 or 10 years
Yeah, probably 8 or 10 years ago. And then up here, I know it's tough to walk, but again, you can see these reduction pruning. And then the ones over the house, I hit back even harder. And you can see that lowest branch there. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, it didn't quite make it, like that stick didn't make it. But let's look back a little bit further, right?
Yeah.
That thing, I'm guessing, I'm pretty sure that that's coming off the stem of that lowest limb there. That means that limb's still alive all the way back to the trunk. We just have to cut the end of it off, and the only thing that's going to break off is that stick. It's cut back past the roof line. Even if it went, there was no harm going to happen. Looks like we lost a little tiny branch, got broken up there. You see that little one that got broken right there? And then the reduction cut past that. And out there's reduction cuts, and all over this side here, all these reduction cuts. So what happened here, oh, and then one more thing. So these are tulip trees, very brittle if you're not familiar with the species, fall apart in storms all the time. Behind it is a white oak. Now you'll never be able to tell from here with this camera view, no matter how much I try to zoom in. But I made reduction cuts on all those branches over the house as well on that. That's actually on the other side of the house, leaning towards the house. But the cuts were much smaller. That cut's probably 8 inches there. The cuts on this tree were probably 2-3 inches, maybe 4, some max. And the difference is the species. White oak is probably the toughest, most storm-resistant species out there. This is how they make the English bow out of. The mast, the tall ships are made out of the white oak because it's such sturdy wood. And the reason this is significant here is because this neighborhood just caught a hurricane, like maybe not full-blown hurricane, but hurricane or close to hurricane force winds. I heard they were over 80 miles an hour. We just pulled another oak tree right off of someone's house that went through the window and landed a foot above the daughter's bed. But we don't have one broken branch. There's no branches down here, not one. On these two big tulip trees, they just went through 80-mile-an-hour winds. And the white oak over there. It's like phenomenal. It just proves to me every time I see this stuff over and over and over again how important and how effective this reduction pruning is at preventing these storms, these trees from dying in storms. And Frank, let me tell you something. Time and time again, when people don't prune, and then one branch breaks, comes down, lands in the hammock or whatever, there's all kinds of weird stuff the trees do, like summer limb drop. One branch will break, and then all of a sudden, oh, this tree's got to go, this is a dangerous tree. Or it develops a crack in the main trunk. Well, it wouldn't have developed a crack if you'd done what I told you to in the first place. Let's take a little bit off those branch tips. So over and over and over again, when this happens, trees live. When it doesn't happen, trees die. Because people get scared of them, and then they just say, cut the whole tree down. Okay, yeah. This tree too, right?
This one's got the hole in it.
Yeah, right.
Remember?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Honey, get closer.
Ellen's reminding me that this one has a big hole in it. Right there. Yeah. So, and it's leaning out one way and one way only, which is towards their cars, towards their house. It might be time to come back. I'm guessing this is probably 8 years. Ellen, how long ago was it that I pruned this one? 5 years ago. Yeah. Or 14, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Well, it's pretty much close to time on this one. We got to take a little more weight off. Because that decay keeps working its way through there. And the top keeps growing, getting heavier, so we got to reduce it again. That'll give you a little more protection.
Can I just talk? House, like the beginning of August.
Yeah, we'll get you in. That's not a problem. It shouldn't be a problem at all. All right, don't laugh. Beginning of August, there's plenty of room, plenty of time. All right, so enough rambling about trees. I hope it's it's touching someone's out there, because I'll tell you, it makes me feel so good. I can't even explain to you how good it makes me feel when I see these trees going through a hurricane that haven't been touched in at least 5 years, maybe 8 years, possibly 10. Because did I do these at the same time I did that?
Oh, no, these were one time. Then the second time you came back and
Right.
you did this.
So that was if this is 5 years ago, the big tulips are probably 8 years ago, maybe
I'll
10.
tell you when it was, 12.
2012, 8 years ago, exactly. So we're guessing, but we're guessing well here.
We are.
All right, everybody, love you all.